ever have one of those days you feel bloated, so you think, okay, I'll just eat less, give my system a break, only to find out you feel even worse? It makes no sense, right? It's super frustrating. Well, let's unpack this, because the answer might have nothing to do with how much you're eating. I mean, common sense would tell you an emptier stomach should be a happier stomach. So what is going on here? It's this weird paradox that so many of us run into. And the answer, believe it or not, is this fascinating little twist hidden deep inside our own digestive system. You know, we put so much focus on the quantity of our food, but the real issue could just be a simple matter of geography. Seriously, think of it like this. A bunch of folks have moved into the wrong neighborhood inside your gut, and now they're throwing a rowdy party at all hours of the day. And this whole situation, this confusing gut feeling, actually has a name. It's something that more and more doctors are starting to point to as a major player in digestive problems. It's called SIBO. So SIBO stands for Small Intestinal Bacterial Overgrowth. Here's the deal. In a happy, healthy gut, most of your bacteria are supposed to live down in your large intestine. That's their home. SIBO is what happens when those bacteria decide to pack their bags, move upstairs into the small intestine, and start to multiply where they really, really don't belong. So just look at the difference here. In a healthy gut, you see the bacteria are all hanging out where they're supposed to be, down in the large intestine. But with SIBO, they've set up shop in the small intestine. And this is where all the trouble starts, because they start fermenting your food way too early, before your body even gets a chance to absorb all the good stuff. And the result of that early fermentation party? Well, it's a list of symptoms that probably sounds all too familiar. That intense bloating and gas, stomach pain, diarrhea, and that just awful feeling of being totally stuffed after only a few bites. And since these little party crashers are eating your nutrients before you can, it can even lead to fatigue and major vitamin deficiencies, like with B12 and iron. So the big question is, how does our body let this happen in the first place? I mean, our digestive system is incredibly smart, and it actually has a built-in defense mechanism to stop this very thing. But sometimes our modern lifestyle just gets in the way. Okay, let me introduce you to the unsung hero of your gut, the migrating motor complex, or MMC for short. The best way to think about it is like a built-in cleaning crew. It's this powerful wave that only turns on when your gut is empty, and its whole job is to sweep through the small intestine and push all the leftovers and extra bacteria down into the large intestine where they belong. And here is the absolute catch. The cleaning crew, the MMC, it only clocks in for work during the downtime between your meals. So if you're constantly snacking, a handful of almonds here, a latte there, a little cracker an hour later, you never ever give it a chance to start its cleanup cycle. Even a tiny little bite signals to your body, hey, stop cleaning, we've got to digest. And the result? The bacteria just get to hang out and multiply. But look, it's not just about snacking. There are other things that can throw a wrench in the works. Using too many antibiotics can wipe out your good gut flora, letting the bad guys take over. If you have low stomach acid, one of your body's most important lines of defense is down. And of course, a diet high in processed foods and sugar is like rolling out a buffet for the very bacteria you're trying to get rid of. Okay, so we've got all these potential causes, right? From our eating habits to our stomach acid. So it probably won't surprise you that the experts have some pretty different ideas about how to fix the problem. And this is where it gets really, really interesting, because we found 4 totally distinct philosophies for finding relief. Let's start with philosophy number 1, which comes from Dr. Ken Berry. His approach is simple: starve the bacteria. His logic is, look, the test for SIBO literally uses sugar to make the bacteria produce gas. So if sugar is what they eat, just take it away. He suggests a strict animal-based or carnivore diet to completely cut out carbs and sugars, essentially starving those overgrown bacteria into submission. Now, philosophy number 2, coming from Dr. Vivek Joshi, takes a totally different angle. He says the problem isn't really the bacteria themselves, but the environment that's letting them grow out of control. So his focus is all about rebuilding your body's natural defenses, starting right at the top with your stomach acid. So to do this, he recommends things like apple cider vinegar or lemon juice to help with stomach acidity, and natural antimicrobials like garlic and oregano oil. But here's the part that might make you pause. His most crucial piece of advice is to avoid all probiotics and prebiotics. His thinking is, why on earth would you add more bacteria to the fire when the whole problem is a bacterial overgrowth in the first place? All right, on to philosophy number 3. This approach, which we saw from Wellness Geeks, goes straight back to that cleaning crew we talked about earlier. From this perspective, the real problem is just that the migrating motor complex, the MMC, isn't getting enough time to do its job. So the solution isn't about killing or starving anything, it's just about resetting the system. And this boils down to a really simple, powerful plan. Step 1, stop snacking. Create those 4 to 5 hour cleaning windows between your meals. Step 2, try a gentle 12-hour overnight fast to give the MMC a nice, long, uninterrupted work shift. And step 3, a quick 10-minute walk after you eat can help the whole process along. See, it's all about creating a rhythm, not about restriction. And finally, philosophy number 4. This is the clinical view from a gastroenterologist, Dr. Piyush Ranjan. He sees SIBO as a medical condition called dysbiosis, basically an unhealthy imbalance in your gut's microbial population. Think of your gut like a garden where the weeds are starting to choke out all the beautiful flowers. The goal here is to medically manage that garden. So his approach involves cutting back on processed foods that feed the weeds and sometimes using specific antibiotics to clear out the overgrowth. But get this. In a complete 180 from Dr. Joshi, Dr. Ranjan actually recommends taking probiotics like from curd and prebiotics from fruits and veggies to help the good flowers grow back and reclaim their turf. Okay, let's just hit pause for a second. Go carnivore, avoid probiotics, space out your meals, definitely take probiotics. It's a lot, and some of it is literally the exact opposite advice. So what does this all mean? What is our gut actually trying to tell us through all this noise? When you lay it all out, you see we have 4 very different lenses for looking at the exact same problem. Is it a fuel problem that needs you to starve the bacteria? Is it a defense problem where you need to rebalance the environment? Is it a timing problem where your cleaning crew is just off the clock? Or is it a population problem that needs some medical intervention? But here's the beautiful thing. Despite all the different tactics, every single one of these philosophies is pointing to the same fundamental truth. SIBO is a sign that your gut's natural, delicate ecosystem has been thrown out of whack. The balance is just off. And that actually explains why the advice seems so contradictory. The right approach for you probably depends on why your ecosystem got disrupted in the first place. And that realization leads us to a much more powerful question. When we see all these different expert opinions, it's so easy to get stuck trying to figure out who's right and who's wrong. But maybe, that's not the right way to think about it at all. Maybe we've been asking the wrong question. Perhaps the real question, the one we should all be asking, is this. What does my gut's unique ecosystem need to find its balance again? Does it need a change in fuel, or its defenses down? Does it just need more time to clean itself out? Or does it need some medical backup? Figuring out the root cause of your imbalance, that's the first step. And that is a journey of discovery that is absolutely worth taking.